They compliment the fireworks. I know we're using right now. I have no reason to. I'm only doing it for you, but it's an example. No, no, you're right. Say without any direction from the legislature, we can say we're going to give them that's what I heard. But I agree. Yeah, Joe, I guess we're ready. Oh, 702. Okay. Not a good sign. Okay, welcome to our regular meeting, July 1st, Putnam County Legislature. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Legislator Wright, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
District number 1, Legislator Scucimaro. Present. District 2, Legislator Alvario.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Shapiro.
Present.
District 4, Legislator Nasarino.
Present.
District 6, Legislator Gross.
Present.
District 7, Legislator Castellano.
Present.
District 8, Legislator DeVille.
Present.
District 9, Legislator Wright.
Present.
District 5, Chairman Albano.
Present. Recognition of pretrial probation, supervision week. Legislator Roger Gross.
Is anyone here from probation? Folks want to come on? You, one folk, okay. What's your name?
Charlene Effinger.
Okay, and your job in probation?
I'm a probation officer.
Okay, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
This pretrial probation, parole, and supervision week is July 13th to the 19th. Whereas pretrial probation and parole officers are all intricate and crucial professionals of the community correction team, and community corrections is an essential part of the justice system. Basically, it's commending you as professionals and very involved in this work in a deep way and a personal way. It goes on to say that whereas community correction professionals promote prevention, intervention, and advocacy, and provide services, support, and protection for victims. It's resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim the week of July 13th to the 19th as pretrial, probation, and parole supervision week, and encourage all Putnam County residents to honor these community corrections professionals and to recognize their achievements, and signed by the County Executive, Mary Ellen Odell, and the Chairman of the Legislature, Carl Albano. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Is there something you'd
Everybody wants to come. That'd be great.
You're having a lunch on July
Yep.
16th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's noon to 12.
At probation?
Noon to 2 at probation. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Everybody's welcome to come.
Everybody's invited?
Yep.
Here? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks
Thank you
very
so much.
for coming. Okay.
Next, we have a proclamation designating July 25th to the 27th as Putnam County 4-H Fair Week. We have Putnam County 4-H Fair starting on Friday, July 25th. Legislator Scucimaro.
Okay. Come on up, Marge. 43 years. That's a long time, isn't it? That's amazing. That's amazing. We're very pleased to designate July 21st through July 27th as Putnam County 4-H Fair Week. Putnam County 4-H, sponsored by Cornell Cooperative Extension of Putnam County, has showcased for the past 43 years the many interests and accomplishment of Putnam's children and adults programs. And whereas the Putnam County 4-H continues to grow as an educational, cultural, and fun event that provides a wholesome experience for families from Putnam and surrounding areas. And that encompasses a lot of areas. You have people from all over coming to this fair. So this is, it's a great week. It's a great thing to get involved in. So please, everybody partake. And the 4-H's, remind me what they are?
Head, heart, hands, and health.
There you go. It says it right there. Congratulations. Margie, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me take my copy. You can have that one.
Okay, first of all, we'd like to thank the county executive and the legislature for your proclamation and your support. The Putnam County 4-H Fair, while it's our 43rd year, there's many things that have changed, but there's a lot of things that haven't. And what has not changed is the wholesome family atmosphere of the 4-H Fair. It's truly a community effort. We have over 600 volunteers that come out and make the 4-H Fair what it is here in Putnam County. I think it's a very unique event. Only Putnam County could host an event like our Putnam County 4-H Fair.
And I never knew there were so many different kinds of chickens. I loved it. Congratulations.
And it's really the support of the community, the support of our local businesses that make the 4-H Fair happen. Joining me tonight are Mannion, Maddie, Harper, and Jody. They are 4-H Fair team leaders. We have over 300 youth that are involved in volunteering at the 4-H Fair and making the fair happen. These young ladies have been out this week putting up 4-H Fair posters, working in our office, doing all the preparation that goes on behind the scenes to make the 4-H Fair happen here in our community.
It's a big, big event, so it takes a lot of people to make it a success.
It's
so
a community
thank you.
service project showcasing the positive things in Putnam County. So just as a reminder, what are the dates?
The 25th through the 27th of July.
And where is it?
It's at the Putnam County Veterans Memorial Park on Gypsy Trail Road in Kent, New York.
And what else, Jody?
There's free parking and admission.
And what can people expect to see and do at the 4-H Fair?
There are games, there's lemonade, puppet shows, there are youth exhibits, and so much more. So we hope to see you there.
We will be there.
So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, 3, we have approval of the minutes for our regular meeting, May 6, 2014, a special meeting, May 13, 2014, regular meeting, June 3, 2014, and budget and finance meeting, June 3, 2014. Any discussion? Make a motion to move them. Accept the minutes. Okay, correspondence, county order. I believe there's been no activity reported during this period. Okay, Budget and Finance Committee. Approval of the 2015 decentralized budget review process for preparation and adoption of the 2015 county budget. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Health, Social, Economic, and Environmental Committee, Legislator Oliverio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On our first item on the agenda, and this is on behalf of Legislators Ledoux and Scucciamara and myself, I'd like to move forward approval, resolution number 104, which pertains to the Algonquin Gas Transmission Project. And what this does is that we passed a resolution last month. It simply enables us to correspond with all the organizations listed, sending them that resolution. And I'd like to move that forward.
Yeah, I'd like to, when I saw the list of agencies that are notified, I didn't see on there the U.S. American Federal Energy Regulatory Committee. I saw something in our email about the environmental impact statement. They're looking for input from us, so if we can add them on there.
Okay, that's good. As amended then, I move it as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, my opposition, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
What was that, Kevin?
That was a nay, one nay.
One nay.
Thank you. Okay, next is approval of the appointment for individuals on the Putnam County Coordinating Council for People with Disabilities. And we have
Ivani Kodik of Carmel, term to expire December 31st, 2015. Athena Lightcap, term to expire December 31st, 2016. Robert Joy Jr., December 31st, 2016. And Donna Panessa, 3-year term to expire December 31st, 2016. And again, the council is in need of new membership. Many of our individuals have either left Putnam County or at this point in time have other obligations, cannot attend. So this is a great thing that we have these volunteers stepping up.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Fiscal Services Committee, on behalf of Legislator Nassarino, Scucciamari, and myself, 5D is approval of the bond resolution, Putnam County Bikeway 2, Phase B. This is a $4 million plus project. The grants are $3,706,730, and our match is $411,870. It's a 20-year bond. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, again, as I said at the work session that we had on this in the committee meeting, I'm concerned about bonding, and I've mentioned that quite a few times, and I continue to be concerned. I love the bike project. I remember when it first began, great support. It's a great recreational activity, and I want it to continue. But instead of bonding, again, I'm going to ask that we consider paying cash for this. We have it in reserves. We have more than $14 million. We're sitting on our fund balance. This is $400,000. We are not putting future generations or ourselves over 20 years in debt, paying interest every year on something we can pay cash for. I grew up in a household where if you couldn't pay cash, you didn't purchase it, and then it must mean you cannot afford it. And at this point in time, we have the cash. I really ask to support this program, but pay for it. Not
Other discussion?
Thank you, Chairman Albano. I too will be voting no because of the bonding. I have spoken out in the past. We're just bonding ourselves into oblivion. And the other issue I have is that we don't have a maintenance agreement going forward with this bike path. We keep extending it, but we're not quite sure how we're going to pay for the maintenance. So I just want to go on record.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would just like to say, we're, I'd say, close to the final stages on this bike path. It was a major endeavor. I couldn't even imagine how many millions were spent. With regard to the bonding, I think we're in good shape based on our Auditor Bill Carlin's reports. We're going to be looking at that in the future. We have a lot of surprises coming up, so I'd like to hang on to the cash and look at that at the end of the year. So I'll be in favor of this. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, I would just add that we're at a crossroads with litigation. Excuse me. You saw the journal news on Sunday. There was a whole spread on Putnam County in litigation, and the heavy numbers so identified. So I think we have to think strongly about cash and bonding down the line, because this is a heavy hit. So I'm going to support the bike path by Suburban Propane. It's working its way toward the village of Brewster, and they've really made remarkable progress. It's going very well.
That's excellent.
So I support it, no way, always. But with money looking to the future, and I agree with Commissioner Carlin made it clear our ratios for bonding is very good in Putnam County. We have a great rating. But we have pending litigation, which is like a hurricane out there, and none of us know what's going to happen. So that's my concern about the finances down the line.
Legislator Nassarino.
I too support the bike path, and I too support the bonding. I think the scenario is a little bit different because we can afford it, but we choose to hold on to our fund reserve, and I think that's an important point. But Legislator LeBeau has an excellent point with the O&M, because that's the problems that we encountered the last time with the signs and everything else. Because the bike path didn't have an O&M in place and it was aging, we were faced with that dilemma. So I would like to see that worked on or thought about or incorporated into the new phase. Good point, Dean.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, again on the bonding, I understand that Mr. Carlin says our ratio is good, but if we increase adding to that bonding, remember, we already have bonded close to $13 million. $13 million in the past 3 years. This brings it up to almost 14. Where do we say the bonding has to stop? We're buying on credit. That's what it is. And we have the cash. And that's what I'm saying. I love the bikeway. I support it 100%. I want to pay for it. I want to pay cash. I don't want to use a credit card on this one. And this is my own opinion.
Okay. Legislator Taro.
Being relatively new, I'm not as familiar with the budget as the other members of the legislature. I was somewhat surprised to learn that a significant portion of our undesignated fund balance is used to make the school districts whole when it comes to tax time. Now, I understand a lot of that money comes back, but I don't really know the exact dollar amount. I also don't really know how much of that 18 million, or whatever the number is accessible to us as, let's say, a surplus cash fund. Because in a very preliminary explanation, it's not as if it was like an $18 million surplus. There's some constraints on it. Along those lines, I had said to Legislator Castellano through audit a request that we get a report from Mr. Collin to try to clarify these things, especially going into the budget cycle. I did meet with Mr. Collin very briefly on this. And it's not as if we're adding $400,000 on top, because just as we're continuing to take out new bonds, certain bonds are coming off. But seeing as how the report should be coming next month, I think it would be prudent to just wait to see, and then we'll have a better opportunity at audit, and we'll have a clearer picture of what the status is. And, you know, quite frankly, this is, there's a lot of things with this budget that I was unaware of. You know, the vacancy control being, you know, almost $1 million. I mean, these are things, as a council person, I didn't have to deal with, but this is the reality of our budget, and something that I'm going to have to come up to speed with, and everyone else is going to have to consider again. So I am in favor of the project. I am in favor of the bonding on the recommendation, but I assure you that once this is thoroughly reviewed, that we should have a clear understanding.
Legislature Scuchamara.
Hi, thank you, Lou. I think that's a very good point, to have a really broad look at what we're bonding and what's coming off, because in conversations with Bill Carlin, he did state that a lot of these bonds are coming off already, so, but, okay, Sam, we'll look at it. But Deanie does have a good point about the maintenance of these trails. They're popping up all over the country, and I think it's a problem throughout the country about how to maintain. I mean, we did have a figure of, what, $80,000 a year to maintain our bike path. That's why I hate to bring this up, that advertising, small advertising on the bike path would bring in revenue to kind of offset this. But that's no longer on the table. But anyway, I'm in favor.
Maybe someday in the future. Okay. Legislator Wright.
Did I understand Legislator Tartaro to be suggesting or requesting the tabling pending the receipt of the report?
No, I'm in favor of it, but I think that the whole topic needs a comprehensive look. And I trust that that'll occur within the next month.
We'll find out next month, we'll understand.
Yeah, I'd be very much in favor. We want to look at all the bonds again, and the big thing to look at here is that these are historic low rates. In the future, you know, we might not have these opportunities, so I'd rather keep the cash where it is, and then we can look at it in the future and decide what we want to pay down if things are much better than we anticipate. So I guess at this point, I'll have a roll call vote.
Mr. Chairman, before you vote,
Yes.
the record should reflect that Resolution 42 of 2008 covers the secret requirement on this bond.
Thank you. Okay.
I'll vote no only because we've asked for a comprehensive look at the bonding issue, and I just think that nothing would be harmed if we waited until we have that in hand, since we've now
And
asked
what is
for
the
it.
urgency, I'm sorry, through the chair, through council? Why does this have to be approved tonight? Is there a time constraint?
I don't know.
No, so why can't we table it to next month?
I think we discussed it already.
Yeah, it's already been discussed. I'd like to have a roll call vote on it now.
Discuss without knowing what's in the general fund and how many millions of dollars are available. It seems to me that we're kind of voting in the dark here.
The thing is, just to point out, this is the building season. They're on the bike paths right now.
We're working on it now. 4 weeks is not going to derail what they're doing.
I mean, I'm sure in the future, I mean, we want this bike path to move. The funding, where it comes from, can probably be changed later on, am I right, Clint? I mean, at any time we can take money out of the fund balance, we don't want to bond and change our minds on that, but basically conceptually, we can move this forward, so it's not delayed.
Well, no, it's tied to a bond.
It's tied to a bond, but I'm sure in the future we can change that if we saw that there was a problem.
Can you amend that then?
Yeah, we're authorizing the Commissioner of Finance to do a bond. He decides to business bonding November that he doesn't need it for this project. He can,
So it's really not time sensitive. They don't go out to bond until November.
but his authorization might not be done.
So we can choose at that point to pay for it if we want, if we see that we have a problem. So let's have a roll call vote.
Go ahead.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
Yes.
Legislator LeBeau.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliverio.
I love the project, but again, I'd like to pay cash, so I will be a no vote on the bonding.
Legislator Scuchamara.
Yes.
Legislator Chatera.
Yes.
Legislator Wright.
Abstain pending the report that was requested on the bonding situation in Putnam County.
Chairman Albano.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, 5F is the approval budgetary amendment 14A035, Commissioner of Finance closeout. I'm sorry, did I miss? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
5E,
Mr. Chairman.
which is tied to the bike path.
Right.
This is the approval budgetary amendment, Planning Department by grade 2, Phase B. And basically, this is moving the money around for what we just discussed, to have it available. Any discussion? All in favor?
One no,
And
as stated.
Two noes.
And an abstention, I believe, Kevin?
And an abstention. Thank you. 5F, approval budgetary amendment 14A035, Commissioner of Finance closeout. These are the completed capital projects, adjusting the outgoing capital projects. Basically what we're saying, at the end of this period, over $7 million of projects were completed, and we have about $2,530 left over. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5G, approval memorialization opposing the Clean Water Act, regulating proposed by the Environmental Protection Agency and Army Corps of Engineers. Discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would ask that this be tabled so we can have additional discussion in physical. I've read this, and I don't think it's as onerous as this memorialization makes it out to be. Matter of fact, some of the things they're proposing, the Army Corps of Engineers and the EPA, is going to help us keep in balance development and the environment. I think it's pretty important. I would love to have our Department of Health comment on this particular thing. We never did that. And Dr. Fields is here. I would love to hear from his department what they think about this. If they think we should indeed pass this memorialization, I would feel much more comfortable. But we haven't had their input, and I'm asking that we table it to get their input, if that's okay.
I can just say this, we did have it at physical. Most of the people that I've spoken to, building departments, planning departments, and most people that are involved with this, had the opinion that we're getting to the point where there's so many regulations that we're stopping almost everything. I haven't talked to anybody that deals with this type of work that was in favor of it. But again,
that's the construction trades, and I understand that. Construction trades, of course, they construct, and and I understand. Believe me. I just would feel much more comfortable to have the experts from our Department of Health. They have an environmental department there under the auspices of health, and just get their input. If they think that indeed this is a good way to go, then I'm comfortable. But I'm just asking for a hold on a month. I don't think that's going to matter. So I would ask that it be tabled back to committee.
Second, I agree with them.
okay.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Legislator
Especially
Wright?
since this.
I'm sorry, Legislator LeBeau.
No, please.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. I just want to say that I agree with Legislator Oliverio, and the Commissioner of Health happens to be here this evening in the audience. This concerns the Clean Water Act, so I don't think it'll hurt. It's only memorialization if it's tabled for another month,
Yeah.
just to have input from the Health
I
Department.
would
I would feel more comfortable.
I'd be happy to review it and report back.
Thank you, thank you.
Legislator Wright.
I would oppose tabling on the basis that it's only a memorializing resolution, and as such, I don't think county departments, county legislators, county legislative personnel should spend further time on it. It's, we think this is wonderful, and we don't think this is a good idea of resolution. That's all it is. So I'm opposed to the county spending any more time.
Okay. Legislator LaVoy, I'd like to make a comment.
Sure. I just want to point out something. In the past, this legislative body has gotten in trouble because we pushed forward a memorialization regarding the New York Safe Act, and then we had to have a public hearing. This courthouse was packed because we didn't give the public the opportunity to speak. And number two was a memorialization against Indian Point. And so with respect to those two issues, I think tabling it for another month is not going to be a big deal. So we can vet it, because regardless, it has impact. We're saying that although it's a memorialization, that this is how we feel, and we're in favor of this, or not in favor of it in this case.
Is this time sensitive? I mean, when is this proposed?
I can't imagine it is.
No.
I support Sam and Dini on this too. I think that we should do our due diligence, understand what we're pushing forward and supporting, and getting the input of Dr. Miller and the health department. So I think it's just, we should proceed and know when we pass these memorializations through that we're comfortable with that.
Legislator Wright.
It's been well summed up. Therein lies the problem with these memorializing resolutions in general. I don't think they're a good use of legislative time. Dini refers to how it got this legislature in some past troubles, and I don't think these entities need our seasoned input spent over months of dragging in departments to give opinions about things that we're not going to be able to affect the result on, other than to express an opinion. Every legislator can write a letter. But again, that's all I can say about it. It's partly generic to memorializing resolutions. They are, I don't believe, the best use of this legislature's time and the best use of our valuable department heads' time. What?
Yeah, I mean, my comment to that would be, you're probably correct some of the time. There are times when we should give an opinion, and what happens is in the world today, there's a lot of over-regulation. Anybody that deals with water courses, streams, any kind of construction knows today that almost every dot is dotted and every T is crossed. The people that I've spoken to in the engineering and building and a couple different agencies have told me that at what point do we stop? It's becoming very difficult, and that's what we're trying to avoid. We want to do the right thing for the environment, but at the same time, from what I've seen in this and from what people have told me, it's just two steps up to basically stopping everything. Legislator Scuchamara.
I don't have a problem with tabling this for Sam, and I do think that we are totally over-regulated as far as our water goes, especially in this side of the county. But I do disagree with Kevin. I think memorialization and sending these resolutions to different entities is telling them how we feel as a legislature, and I think that's important.
Okay, so where do we go from here? We have one motion.
Take a vote on the table.
I need a second for the table.
So we vote.
Second. Second to the motion table.
Okay, so we vote on the motion to table, okay?
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
No.
Legislator LeBeau.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliveria.
Yes.
Legislator Scuchamaro.
Yes.
Legislator Tataro.
Yes.
Legislator Wright.
No.
Chairman Albano.
No.
Motion carries.
Good. You give us that.
Okay, Personnel Committee, Chairwoman Nasarino.
Thank you, Chairman Albano. On behalf of legislators Castellano, Tataro, and myself, I'd like to recommend item 5H, approval of the standard workday reporting resolution. This is a resolution required by New York State local employees retirement system. Basically, it's a housekeeping detail. Every year we need to provide them with the information on activity and attendance records, so I would like to move that forward.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Second item is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Highways and Facilities Putnam Investment Leaders of Tomorrow Pilot Intern Program. This is a budget transfer. This is the pilot program on young interns that are working here this summer and are doing a stellar job in every department. And so therefore I'd like to move that forward in the amount of the transfer as $24,396 with no fiscal impact.
Any discussion? I'd just like to add that I think we're going to have a lot of interns helping us at the
Yes, I know.
at the event
I've heard that
without
as
any
well.
overtime or it's a good thing. All in favor? Aye.
Item 5J is approval ratification of the Putnam County Independent Association PBA contract. I'd like to move this forward so we can ratify it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item IK is to support that contract. We need the necessary budget transfer, so I'd like to move that forward as well in the amount of $396 and $237. So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye. And item 5L, getting back to our memorializations, I have a memorialization resolution calling for the governor and the New York State Legislature to refrain from enacting on new public benefit mandates. I would like to respectfully request to table this, again, upon further review. This was in personnel, and we do recognize that the request to stop making new mandates with the county increases our taxes. But we also recognize that the impacts of this particular resolution, and I would like to respectfully table this so that we can ensure that the language fits our framework here in Putnam County. It speaks to reforming the Taylor law, and it speaks to repealing the tribal amendment. And while we recognize that something has to be done to stop the mandates, we are not in total agreement with the language set forth in this template resolution.
I will second the table.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, vote on that. Vote to table.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
Yes.
Legislator LeBeau.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliveri.
Yes.
Legislator Scucciamaro.
Yes.
Legislator Chatero.
Yes.
Legislator Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Albano.
Yes.
Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
Okay, next we have Rules and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, Chairman LeBeau.
Thank you, Chairman Albano. On behalf of myself and legislators Totaro and Wright, I'd like to move forward agenda item 5M, which is the approval appointment Putnam County Home Improvement Board. I'd like to move forward Aaron Marr, Village of Brewster in the town of Southeast, as a citizen representative for a 2-year term set to expire December 31st, 2015.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Economic Development and Energy Committee, Chairwoman Scucciamaro.
No, I don't usually get to talk. On behalf of legislators Roger Gross and Kevin Wright, I would ask that the following 5N approval of the reestablishment of the Fiscal Vision and Accountability Commission be approved. Thank you. It's with great pleasure.
Discussion?
Yes.
The choice of individuals I applaud. It's bipartisan, and it's a good group of very concerned citizens and volunteers. And it's good to have this committee back and running.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would second that. That we have public officials, we have business people, could be very beneficial. Any other discussion?
And there's still vacancies, correct? How many more people are we looking for? Three more people?
Four.
Four?
Oh, that's right, because we took one. 4 people.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Audit and Administration Committee, Chairman Castellano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of legislators Nesserin and Totaro, I'd like to bring forward the following. Item 5O is the approval of the budgetary amendment from the Commissioner of Finance vacancy control factor, March 2014 to May 2014. And this is just a list of funds that are within the vacancy control factor that are coming back. Zero fiscal impact, and I'd like to move it forward.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Item 5P is the approval of budgetary amendment for probation, DWI Partnership Initiative. This is some incoming money that we're moving around through probation to cover some costs for DWI checkpoints through the local towns. It's in the amount of $5,366.52. That's a zero fiscal impact for the Putnam County.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. 5Q is the approval of budgetary amendment for emergency services 2013 Homeland Security Grant. This is a grant application that we put in some time ago and the money has come in. So we're putting it in the appropriate categories to be spent. It's a $165,000 grant. It's a good thing for Putnam County and I'd like to move it forward.
Discussion?
No, my refusal was my son's assistant director for Homeland Security.
All in favor?
Aye.
One no. One refusal.
Okay, item 5R is the approval of the amendment to the salaries of the captains in the Putnam County Sheriff's Department, Division of Law Enforcement. This came into play because with the recent PBA agreement, certainly there was a disparity with the people in charge, and we wanted to make sure that the salaries met the right criteria so we can bring in the right people to be the leaders in the future of the Putnam County Sheriff's Department. And I think it's a good thing for Putnam County and a good thing for the Sheriff's Department. It's pretty straightforward as we discussed last week. I'd like to move forward.
Discussion?
We discussed this at length at the Personnel Committee meeting, and I fully support it. There is a disparity. We have to lessen the gap between the union officers and the captains and the lieutenants, and this we really needed to get done. And it's twofold. Not only do we need to adjust the salaries, but we also need to encourage and have people want to seek these positions in the future. And if we don't do this, then we are retarding our own growth, because the people in the workforce and the offices will find it more cost-effective to stay where they are and will not seek these management positions within the Sheriff's Department. So I'm very supportive of it.
Yes, I agree with Legislator Nasserino. It corrects an inequity that's been going on for some time. Managers making less, are salaried less than the people that work for them. This puts that back in perspective, so management is paid more with their responsibilities. They don't have overtime. They don't have other union benefits. And so this is the right move at the right time. This is a problem not just with in law enforcement, but also in other departments of the county, which I know you're going to be addressing. It's a problem in the public sector, school districts and all. You have teachers making more than assistant principals and so forth. So in our domain, we need to look at it and reevaluate, and it's a long time coming, but I think this is the right thing to do, and I'm proud to be supporting this.
Yeah, I would like to add to that. I agree. I support this, and it's very important at budget time that our department heads point out where these issues are. We know it exists, and with their input, then we can really address it where it's most appropriate. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Okay. Item 5S is the approval of resolution to amend the salaries of the captain, lieutenant in the Putnam County Sheriff's Department Division of Corrections. Basically the same issue that we just brought up a moment ago. We're just making a correction as Legislator Gross just spoke to. I'd like to move it forward.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
5T is the approval for the purchasing department, acceptance of credit card payments from the public for Putnam County. This is an item that was brought in front of us last week, and it's going to make Putnam County more user-friendly to collect fees through a possible credit card program that would give the people who have to pay anything towards Putnam County to have the ability to pay by credit card, which they have not had in the past. And it's certainly the way all businesses operate, and Putnam County should take part in this as well. So I'd like to move it forward.
Discussion. Legislator Gross.
Thank you. I certainly support it. It should be noted that there is a convenience fee of 2.65% that the taxpayer, the customer, has to pay. So the county is due so much money, they will get that money, not minus any fees. But it's important to know there is a transaction fee. It's almost like when you buy gasoline, you pay so much for cash and you pay a little more for credit. So that's an important piece, I think, to be recognized for those folks that are going to use credit cards.
And just for clarity, if I could, we are not making the 2.65% is not profit to us. It's the fee that we're being charged by the credit card companies to offer this service.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I just want to point out that prior to accepting the credit card payment, not only will there be signs posted, but each transaction would require the customer, for want of a better term, to sign a waiver or a document that they understand that there will be a 2.65% fee. Because, I think part of the problem with this country, I just have a thing with credit cards, is that, people overextend. And for whatever reason, it's the difficult times we live in. But seeing as how there'll be no misunderstanding that there will be that additional charge, that's really why I'm thoroughly in favor.
And that could add up on a $5,000 or $8,000 tax bill.
Yeah, it could. Quite a bit.
So, but it's an option.
Yeah.
It's an option. It's out there.
Penalty, you get it.
That's right. It could be better than a penalty. That's good. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
5U is the renewal of lease agreement between the County of Putnam and the American Legion Post 275 in Phillipstown. It's a simple lease agreement that I'd like to move forward.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You have any other business?
There's a number 10, I believe, Mr. Chairman.
Is there? Thank you.
Other business?
Did I miss it?
I don't have other business.
I have a number 10.
Do we have other business? We don't, do we?
No.
No.
No, that was the lease. That was the lease.
You making it up.
Okay.
Chairman,
Yes. Legislator Ryan.
this evening, we passed 5A, and I've done some looking into that, and I would ask that paragraph E, subsection 20 of 5A be visited by an appropriate committee or the budget committee. This is under the guidelines to the county executive adopted by the legislature for determining expenditures, limits, and priorities. Subparagraph 20 provides that the legislature is permitted, and I would suggest encouraged, to give such guidance and direction, but apparently an examination of recent, if not all, records in the last 10 years discloses that this legislature has not made any such recommendations to the county executive in connection with the budget review process. So I would at least ask that the budget committee meet once before that the issue of what additional new items we might want to include in that review process is too late to be acted upon. So I would ask that it be referred either to the budget committee or some other appropriate committee of the legislature.
Glenn? We voted on it, so can we still do that and add or amend?
I'm not changing the resolution. I'm asking that an operative clause of the resolution that you've already adopted be indeed acted upon
Okay,
in
so
an
pay
affirmative
attention.
way by the
All right,
legislature.
pay attention to it, I didn't follow. Okay, that's a good point, and that is something that will probably be very valuable.
Kevin, can you just repeat what section you're referring to? I didn't
It's
hear.
5A, paragraph E, subsection 20.
Okay, thank you.
Which provides that the legislature is permitted, if desired, to add any additional new items to the guidelines to the county executive adopted by the legislature annually for determining expenditures and limits and priorities in the county budget review process.
Thank you, Kevin. Recognition of the public. Would anyone like to speak? Have any comments?
Okay.
The Sheriff Peter Convert.
Good evening. Just on behalf of Sheriff Smith and myself, I want to thank you tonight. I think we finally resolved the inequities of our career professionals that are here tonight in management in the Sheriff's Office. And they really are the backbone of the Sheriff's Office. They're the ones that work day to day, any crisis that we have. Today we had a homicide in the Hudson River, and these individuals that are out there. And they really do the job day in, day out. And again, on behalf of the Sheriff and myself, I want to thank you. And we'll endeavor our best to do the best job we can. But thank you again.
We're lucky to have them.
Thank you.
Under Sheriff.
Anyone else? Okay, now we have recognition of the legislators. Any comments? Legislators, Mr. Mara?
I'd just like to mention summer is here, and although during the holidays we're very generous with our food pantries, summertime is a very hard time for them. We have a lot of children that are home from school, and we have a lot of hardworking people that use the food pantry to supplement their weekly allotment of food. So try to remember, we all have a food pantry in our neighborhood, so please try to remember to donate something. Food, non-perishable food, a little donation, it goes a long way, and it's so appreciated.
I just want to wish everybody a good 4th of July. A lot of activities in the county, including the Putnam County Fair, up at Holy Cross, and a bunch of other things. So just everybody enjoy it, be safe.
Okay. I guess what I'd like to say is we've got an exciting weekend coming up, and I hope a lot of people get to visit the farm, even if you're not big on roller coasters or Ferris wheels. You can just see the activity that's going on there with this county-owned facility. Everybody keep your fingers crossed for the weather, but I think we're going to really have a nice weekend.
Not Thursday.
So we'll see. Legislator Gross.
Yeah, hope everyone has a wonderful 4th of July. And as Legislator Oliverio said, there's a lot of things going on. Tilly Foster Farm starting on July 3rd, running through the weekend. And of course the town of Southeast is putting on fireworks where the Home Depot, the Chico's, Appleby area is. Probably want to get there today because there's going to be a lot of cars there. Get a good seat. It should be a wonderful event, and they will water down the hay fields so there won't be any unrequested fires or anything like that. Thank you.
Just going to add to that one thing, there will be different traffic patterns there, so be prepared. The road may be closed in one direction or the other, so it's going to be an interesting weekend as far as traffic goes. Anyone else?
Just want to wish everyone a healthy and happy summer season. And also the Red Mills Historic Park will be having a concert on July 4th starting at 7:30.
Okay. And now I'm going to move to close the meeting. However,
Yes, when you close it, may I add request that we close the meeting in memory of 3 longtime members of fire service in Putnam County?
yes, Legislator LaBouille, we're going to make a comment.
I would like to close the meeting in remembrance of Christensen, who was a 40-year member of the Malpac Falls Fire Department. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Mahopac, as well as the former husband of Mary Christensen, who was the town of Carmel receiver of taxes. And also the tragedy, Jenna Nolan, the young lady who was 14 that drowned in Lake Mahopac. Our prayers go out to their family. And who was the third?
And also there are 2 gentlemen from the Carmel Fire Department who passed away in the past week. John Duane was the head of the fire police for many years, and the former chief, Tom Boyce.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that.
Tom Boyce.
Okay, I'll move to close the meeting. Everyone have a great
Second.
July.
Record. Beautiful.